If you are thinking about changing your home in the next 2 years, pause before painting that wall or buying that fixture. Some of the styles topping today's Pinterest boards are quietly sinking property values and making spaces feel instantly out of date. Builders swarm to gray everything for a reason, but now houses with all gray interiors are sitting 18% longer on the market, while nearly half of buyers call pure white homes soulless. Why are these trends going from can't miss to can't sell, and what easy swaps actually keep your home looking expensive no matter what year it is? Let's break it down, starting with the color mistake almost everyone is tempted to make. Gray wasn't just a color choice, it became a default setting for nearly every builder-grade home in the late 2010s. By 2019, gray paint like Sherwin-Williams Agreeable Gray covered everything from walls to cabinets to floors. The logic seemed simple: gray matched anything, looked crisp in real estate photos, and promised a modern safe bet for resale. But as those homes hit the market in 2025, the numbers told a different story. Listings with heavy gray interiors now sit 18% longer before selling, and agents quietly warn sellers that millennial gray timestamps a house to a very specific era, much like avocado green did for the 70s. Homeowners who once felt clever for choosing cool grays now find themselves repainting entire floors just to attract buyers. The problem is not that gray is inherently bad, it is how relentless and one-note it became. Layering gray on gray, floors, walls, cabinets, counters creates a flat, chilly feeling, especially under natural light. At night, those same grays pick up blue or green undertones from bulbs, making spaces feel even colder. Furniture has to work overtime just to keep a room from looking sterile. Even the pros are backing away. Paint brands that once pushed gray as the it neutral have pivoted hard, with top color launches in 2025 all leaning into warmth. Think muted clays, creamy beiges, and soft bone tones that hold up across different lighting. The fix is not complicated or expensive. Swapping out icy grays for warm neutrals, Greyja, sandy beige, or creamy off-whites immediately makes a space feel more inviting and expensive. These shades still photograph clean, but they do not suck the life out of a room. Layering in natural textures like wood, linen, woven baskets, or stone adds depth and character, so the space feels finished without looking busy. Metallic accents in brushed brass or soft black can stay, but the foundation needs warmth. Less gray as a personality, more warmth as a backdrop. That is what keeps a home feeling fresh, not frozen in time. For anyone planning updates, skipping the all-gray formula is the safest way to avoid a costly repaint and keep your space looking current well past 2026. Pure white rooms promised a shortcut to luxury. Every wall, ceiling, and cabinet painted the same bright shade, every surface spotless and smooth. For a few years, this look felt like the ultimate reset button, especially after the clutter and color of the early 2010s. But reality set in fast. Instead of timeless, all white spaces started reading as cold, empty, and oddly high maintenance. By 2025, a growing number of buyers walked into these homes and described them as sterile, not stylish. In one national survey, over half of respondents said ultra-white interiors felt more like a dental office than a place to live. The trouble starts with light. On paper, white reflects everything and makes rooms look big. In real life, it bounces glare across every surface, especially in daylight. At night, white walls can turn harsh and shadowy, giving off a blue or gray cast under LED bulbs. Every fingerprint, scuff, and spill stands out, and even the smallest amount of clutter ruins the effect. Instead of feeling crisp, the space starts to look unfinished, like a staging photo that never became a real home. Agents report that buyers now see all white as a sign of a rushed flip or a house that is missing personality. Listings with pure white palettes are spending longer on the market, and sellers often have to repaint in warmer shades just to get attention. The solution is not to abandon white entirely. It is about using it with more intention. Warm whites, think creamy ivory, soft bone, or gentle almond, do everything bright white does but without the glare or clinical feel. Layering in natural materials is key. Wood floors, linen drapes, chunky wool throws, woven baskets, and even a stone accent bring depth and comfort. Instead of a room that feels like it is waiting for furniture, you get a space that feels finished and genuinely inviting. For contrast, choose pieces with real weight, like a deep-toned rug or a darker accent chair, so the room feels grounded, not washed out. The homes that look expensive in 2026 are not the ones chasing the brightest white, but the ones where softness and warmth make every surface feel intentional and lived in. Matte black hardware exploded onto the scene as the go-to move for anyone wanting a modern edge. Faucets, door handles, and light fixtures in that flat, inky finish looked impossibly sleek in every Instagram photo and real estate listing. Scroll past the filtered pictures and reality sets in fast. Matte black collects fingerprints, water spots, and every stray splash of soap. In homes with hard water, the finish can look dusty within hours, no matter how often you wipe it down. Even the most diligent homeowner ends up chasing smudges, only to have surfaces still red as streaky or tired by dinner. The wear does not stop at cleaning. Matte black is notorious for showing scratches and nicks on high-touch surfaces like kitchen faucets and cabinet pulls. Over time, the finish can wear away unevenly, revealing shiny metal underneath. For anyone trying to keep their space looking expensive, this constant maintenance becomes a losing battle. Urban listings featuring heavy matte black finishes have started to see a 12% pricing penalty by 2025, with buyers citing upkeep and a dated, heavy-handed look as reasons to walk away. Designers now recommend finishes that hide wear and play well with evolving styles. Brushed nickel, polished nickel, and soft brass tones offer warmth and resilience, and they blend into a wide range of palettes. If you still love the look of black, use it as a supporting accent. One sharp fixture or a single statement light makes black feel special rather than overwhelming. The best homes in 2026 are not chasing the loudest finish. They choose details that age gracefully and do not hand out a daily cleaning contract. Fluted panels and slat walls promised instant sophistication, a way to turn any blank surface into a designer statement with a few vertical grooves. At first, the effect felt exclusive, showing up in boutique hotels and high-end builds. But as the look caught fire on social media, it started appearing everywhere, behind TVs, on kitchen islands, lining hallways, even wrapping entire bedrooms. By 2025, what began as a single accent had multiplied, covering whole homes with the same repetitive texture. The novelty wore off fast. Homeowners began to notice the real-world downsides. Dust settles into every groove, making cleaning a constant chore. Thin MDF panels dent and chip easily, especially in high-traffic spots. One careless bump with a vacuum or suitcase and the damage stands out. Over time, seams start to show as houses shift, and cheap finishes fade or peel, especially on corners and edges. In rooms with lots of natural light, the grooves collect dust that is impossible to ignore. These are not minor annoyances. In a recent industry survey, demand for fluted panel installations dropped by 25% between 2022 and 2025, with millworkers and designers both reporting a sharp decline in requests for whole room applications. The real problem is not the texture itself, it is the lack of restraint. When every wall tries to be the main character, the space feels busy and overdone, leaving no quiet surface for art or furniture to breathe. Designers now advise keeping fluted panels as a single focal point, maybe an entryway niche, a bar area, or one feature wall where detail adds value. Everywhere else, calm surfaces and classic trim give the eye a place to rest. The homes that age well are the ones that use texture sparingly, letting craftsmanship stand out instead of drowning in copy-paste details. In 2026, restraint is the new luxury, and a little texture goes a long way. Tiny mosaic tiles once promised kitchens with character. Each little square seemed like a chance to add color and energy. In reality, the effect often lands as visual static. The more grout lines you have, the more your eye bounces around the room, making the space feel smaller and busier than it is. And then there's the cleaning. Grease and splatters settle into every crevice, especially behind the stove and sink. Even the best grout sealers cannot keep up with daily cooking. Homeowners planning a kitchen refresh in 2026 are starting to notice. Online searches for Mosaic backsplashes dropped 14% in the past year, while design forums fill with stories of endless scrubbing and frustration. The daily upkeep is not just about appearances. Grout is porous, so it traps odors and stains that never really go away. That designer look turns into a maintenance project nobody signed up for. The fix is straightforward and feels instantly more refined. Large format tiles, stone slabs, or a single sheet of quartz as a backsplash cut down on grout lines, so there is less to clean and less visual clutter. The kitchen feels calmer, more expensive, and easier to live with. For anyone who loves a bit of pattern, keep it focused. Use a small accent behind the range or a bar area, not wall to wall. Choosing simplicity over busyness is not boring. It is the new standard for kitchens that age well and stay inviting, no matter how much life happens around them. Open shelving swept through kitchens on social media, promising airiness and a magazine-ready look. But daily reality is less about style and more about upkeep. In a typical kitchen, dust starts to settle within days, and grease from cooking floats up to coat everything on those open shelves. Even with a strong vent hood, it only takes a week or two for a light film to form, especially close to the stove. The result is dishes and glasses that need washing before you use them, not just after. In a 2025 Design Forum survey, kitchens with open shelving averaged 5 extra days on the market compared to those with closed cabinets because buyers flag the shelves as a maintenance headache. The pressure does not stop with cleaning. Open shelving turns storage into a constant performance. One mismatched mug, a cereal box, or a stack of plastic containers can throw off the whole look. For most people, it is exhausting to keep every shelf styled and spotless, especially with a busy family or roommates cycling dishes in and out. The stress of keeping up appearances often outweighs the initial design payoff. Instead of ditching the idea entirely, designers now suggest limiting open shelves to a small zone, maybe a single shelf for coffee mugs, or a couple of floating boards in a pantry. Glass front cabinets are making a comeback too, offering the visual lightness of open shelving but with protection from dust and grease. The best kitchens in 2026 use open storage as a thoughtful accent, not a full-time job. Full open concept homes once promised endless light and space, but daily life quickly exposed the flaws. Noise travels without boundaries. One person on a work call, another watching TV, someone cooking, and suddenly the whole house feels like an echo chamber. By late 2025, 61% of real estate agents and designers reported a surge in clients asking for more defined zones, not less. The reality is, most families want spaces that can be quiet, private, and flexible, especially with more people working from home. Retrofitting these wide-open layouts does not mean sealing every room off. The best solutions add subtle divisions without blocking natural light. Glass dividers, for example, keep sightlines open but cut down on noise, perfect for separating a dining area from a living room. Wide archways bring back a sense of entry and coziness while still letting light flow through. Half walls with built-in storage or shelving create physical boundaries that double as practical upgrades. Even a ceiling detail or a see-through fireplace can help define zones without closing things in. Designers call this the broken plan approach. It is not about losing space, but about gaining control. You can still host a crowd or keep an eye on kids, and you also get a quiet spot for calls or reading. These thoughtful retrofits are showing up everywhere, from city lofts to suburban remodels, and they are making homes feel more expensive and more livable. As the open concept era fades, the homes that hold their value are the ones that find balance between openness and smart, flexible boundaries. LED strip lighting exploded in popularity after 2020, promising a high-end futuristic glow for less than the price of a dinner out. The reality behind dramatic under-cabinet and cove lighting is much less glamorous. In real homes, cheap LED strips come with a long list of problems, including peeling adhesive, flickering diodes, and icy light that washes out every color in the room. Corners start to lift within months, exposing sticky residue and wiring. Cool blue strips can turn even the warmest wood or paint cold and flat. Industry reports and user forums are full of complaints about flicker, failed power supplies, and strips that start pulsing or dimming unevenly, especially with budget kits bought online. The problems are not just cosmetic. Poor quality strips can overheat or spark if installed improperly, and some have been flagged in safety bulletins for fire risk in enclosed spaces. Even when they work, the effect often reads more like a gaming setup than a high-end interior, with visible diode dots and harsh lines that feel outdated very quickly. Designers and builders have taken note. By 2026, exposed LED strips should be out, replaced by layered lighting that feels intentional, warm, and built to last. The best homes use dimmable warm tone under cabinet lights, toe kick strips for safety, and soft accent washes hidden behind proper channels and diffusers. If you want a floating effect, use quality channels and diffusers so the light reads smooth rather than dotted. Instead of chasing the brightest glow, prioritize depth and comfort with light, so every room looks good in person, not just on camera. If the lighting in your space feels more like a nightclub than a home, it is time to rethink and simplify. Design trends turn over faster than ever. What sells today can date a home by next year. As real estate data shows, timeless choices protect both comfort and value in a shifting market. Your home is not a showroom, it is where life happens, and style that lasts is always in demand. The real luxury now is creating spaces that outlast any trend. What would you never bring back? Tell me below.